Hey guys, and welcome back to the Divine Witch. So we are doing our April newsletter. Hopefully March did you guys good. You celebrated Ostera and had a great time. I know I was sick during Ostera, so it wasn't kind of like a thing, but last weekend I was able to actually, make up for it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this month's newsletter. So the first agenda is what is going on with the website. Currently, right now, we have our website down because we're doing some re-editing. I'm hoping to have it available next week, but if not, it's going to be a couple weeks from now because I'm reformatting everything, trying to change the design, add some stuff as well. So that's what's going on with the website. If you guys have tried to get on it and are having issues or things are looking weird, you guys know exactly what's going on and why that's happening. Now, since we are talking about our social media, as many of you guys know, and some of you who may not know, we actually have a Facebook group. And in that Facebook group, I share files, video uploads, along with, weekly to daily discussions depending on that week. As you also know, inside of the Divine Witch group, we actually have a file section. In the file section, we have what's called Book of the Month. Last month was Entering Hecate's Garden. This month is going to be Sigil Witchery, a witch's guide to crafting magical symbols. Now, the last couple months, we haven't really got to be able to have the book reviews that I wanted. So what I'm going to do is the last Thursday of each month, we will actually be doing the reviews on then. I've got actually a planner set out now to where it's a physical planner, not just a digital planner. So that way, we can actually stay on schedule to the things that we're wanting to do. So for anybody who doesn't know or hasn't joined yet, I'll put the link down below. So that way, if you guys want to follow in discussion, you don't have to do the book club if you don't want. This is just something that we have planned to do, and, I figured it would be fun to do as a group as well. It will also give you guys, what books would I suggest, or let's dive deep into different books that we may not have given a chance and see if we like them, give our honest opinion and review. Which, when we start doing this, I'm thinking about instead of we've got two options. I'll leave it up to you guys because you're the community, right? So we can either have a Zoom meeting where we can each, speak, see everybody's faces, and talk about what it is that we liked, what we didn't like, what we felt resonated, what we didn't feel resonated. Or we can do it during a live on YouTube. It's whatever's easiest for everyone. Now, since we are speaking of Zoom, I've had a few of you reach out during some of our lives and say, hey, let's do a Zoom meeting where we just kind of sit back, and it's almost like a TED Talk where we talk about different things and, share opinions, share thoughts. And if that's something that you guys also want to see us do once a month for our online community, then just comment below and let me know. Because that's the only way we can grow, is if you share your opinion on some things that you would like to see or would like to participate in. Since currently right now we're still all doing mostly online. And with that being said, we're going to go right into events. So me and the coven / members of the Divine Witch have been talking about events. We all want to kind of get out, be with the community. We love our online community, but we also want to get back to somewhat normal. But the issue that we have currently right now is, one, not everyone has took the vaccine or may not want to take the vaccine. It's your choice. I have no opinion on either way. You do what's good for you and your family and your health. Now, with that being said, gatherings, as far as I know, they're slowly starting to open things back up here in Ohio to kind of test the waters. I need to actually look more into depth to see, what our crowd limits are going to be. And, when we were having a meeting a while back here at the Divine Witch, we were also talking about, what are some of the things that we want to implement when we start doing events. So one of the things that we are going to start doing, and this is going to be something that we carry on even after coronavirus, is having sanitizing stations. This way, you guys have the ability to clean up whenever you need to, and also, especially when we start getting into seasonal changes, no matter if it's allergy season, flu season, or, a different strain of coronavirus comes around. This way we can protect ourselves. We are asking one or two things when it comes to events. So if you do come to an event, if we do decide to do them this year, which is kind of still up in the air, because part of me is like, I want to get back to the community, and part of me is like, maybe we should wait till 2022. But, we're going to see how it goes, see what the year brings, and then go with it. But so these stations we're going to have around, and basically what it is you're going to be able to wash if you need to, sanitize if you need to. Another thing that we are going to change is, as you guys know, normally when we have people come, we ask, hey, bring a covered dish, something like that. We've been talking about actually doing catering. So even though our events are free and we do not charge for our events, we will probably end up asking people to make donations. If you plan to bring food to an event, especially if we do overnight events. That way we can cater, have something brought in, or, whatever it may be for the supplies. Now, when it actually comes to, divvying out the food, how are things going to change? I've thought about this, and I think this is the best course of action from, someone who's had a food background, also someone who's thinking of the community as themselves. Instead of having everybody, dig in and grab what they want, we're going to have a few people at our food station who will help, divvy out plates for individuals. You come up with your plate, kind of like a lunch style line. And then, you tell us what you want. That way, we're not getting so much contamination, even if we are just in a flu season, you know what I mean? And it just seems a little bit easier to do. Another thing that we've talked about, because as you guys know, normally we have our altar for our ceremonies, and then we have an altar that we let you guys lay your stuff down on, or we let you lay it down on the altar that we're going to be using it during the ceremony. We're going to change this up a little bit and make it to where we have our ceremony ritual table, and then where you can leave offerings on another table. This way that any of the supplies that we have, we can keep them, safe from, contamination, stuff like that. And we're going to change up our ritual style a little bit to where anyone who is within the Devine Witch, like you help us plan the events, you help us work the events, set up the events, clean up after the events, you guys will actually be in the major setup of the ritual, be allowed to touch, the actual things on the table. Everyone else will just be surrounded. We're going to have you guys at least 6 feet apart if that is possible. So that is something that we are going to continue just for safety, because realistically this whole pandemic brought up, about cleanliness, the things that we don't normally think about. Even, breathing without a mask is something that none of us, I don't think, really thought about unless you were like autoimmune disease or, immune compromised. And then, you would wear your mask during these certain seasons. But we want to be more aware. Not only because of the time that we're in, but be more aware because, there is individuals within our community who are immune, compromised or going through things. And we want to make sure that we are acknowledging them, giving them a safe place to come to where, we're watching what we're doing and trying to make it safe and fun for everybody. And by doing this, it shows not only that we care about our community, that we want to work with our community. Now, some of you might see this video and be like, this is absurd, this is crazy, whatever, but I'm personally doing it as I run this group. I created this group because I want to make sure people are safe. It's just like when we do our regular events, if we're scouting out a new location that we spend money on before we have an event, let's say Witch in the Woods. So we're scouting out a different location that we normally haven't used. And, the first thing that we think about is safety. So when it comes to safety, before coronavirus, it was okay, making sure no one has any weapons that will hurt anybody. Making sure in the middle of the night no one is sneaking into other people's tents and hurting them. Making sure that if a fire happened, where would we go? What would be our exit plan? If a shooting happened, what would be our exit plan? These are things that I constantly think about when setting up events. And this is why if you go after certain people, or if there's like a super bad vibe to where you're creeping on people and everything else, you will be asked to leave an event because it is a safe space. That is what we are about. We actually have people who work with us who not only have military backgrounds, they have combat backgrounds as well. And you don't know who it is. So please do keep that in mind. Like, we think of safety in a broad spectrum. So we're just adding this to what we already do already. So hopefully, if you guys ever seen me at an event and we've been camping out and you see me out till like dawn and then I wake up a couple hours later cranky like an angry bear, I'll know why. Because I'm normally the one that stays up late to make sure everything's okay. Because realistically, I'm the one that runs this group. So if something goes wrong, then it comes back on me. And I want to keep my friends, my family, pagan, community, otherwise, safe as possible. And that's what we strive for. So, we're going to have a couple meetings and see where things go over the next couple of months. It's just the way it is right now. And if we don't do an event, just think of it like this. You guys get to see us online, communicate with us, enjoy good times, and kind of get to know me on a personal level, even though you haven't got to physically see me. And that's kind of what I want to go on when we're talking about events, because it's not only physical events as well. I want to talk about our online events. Now, in April, I did have a spiritual communication class. I did cancel it for anybody who paid. You will be reimbursed. So far, as far as I know, we only had one person, so hopefully you did get reimbursed on that, and here's the reason behind it. For classes, I love doing classes, but I do require a certain limit of people to show for me to do a class, because I keep my class prices low. So when you come to my class, I'm not charging you like $300 or whatever. I'm charging you a small amount because if I get 10 people coming to an event that I'm teaching, whether it be online or in person, then that covers my cost for showing up, my time for setting up the class, and also the money that I get goes right back here into the Devine Witch. So, if you signed up for the class, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to start offering two options. Either if you guys want classes on one thing, we need to at least have 5 people, at least minimum. If you're wanting to book something private, like a one-on-one, me and you, have a conversation for a couple hours, me teach you some things, plus in a Q&A after, I will charge a little bit more than I normally do, but that's because you're getting me one-on-one. So kind of keep that in mind. Another thing I want to talk about is because when we're talking about like events and we're talking about online, I know there's a lot of people going, why don't we do a lot more online events? And as you can tell from the spiritual communication class, just one example, it's hard to get people to come to online events. Now, if we have a lot of people that want me to start doing it, I will be more than happy to. But once again, I will require at least 5 people showing up. Because just like you guys, I got family, I got a household to run, I've got animals, I've got kids, the whole 9 yards. So when I set up these classes, I'm taking time out of my life, my day, that I could be working either on Divine Witch stuff, I could be with my family, my friends. So, it's, even though it's not a job, it's kind of like a job, you know what I mean? Like, I have a schedule, and if I set this schedule up, but no one else is meeting me on that schedule, then what's the point, you know what I mean? So hopefully you guys understand that. I don't want it to come off as rude, like, well, she's being awful demanding, but see it as time, you know what I mean? Like, imagine it's like you set up a party, and no one shows, and you put in the time, the money, the effort, and you're the only one there, and now you got all this stuff, and You're just there, right? So if it's something you guys want, I will start doing it, and we will work on that. So I'm just putting it out there. So one of the things that I'm hoping to start in May is a community garden. Now, you guys have heard me talk about this community garden for months on end, right? The goal is that there's a community garden here in Middletown, and it's not that far from my house. I want to get together with our Devine Witch staff, plant some stuff, and then when it comes harvest season, what we're going to do is we're going to split it up between the pagan community and our local community by either giving to food banks or to people who just reach out and say, hey, I'd have nothing to eat. What did you guys plant? And so forth and so on. So the money that we get from our Patreon, which is what I'm about to talk about next, is what we're using for our website payment. We're using it for paying for the spots for the garden plus supplies. We're also using it, to keep up, our equipment uses and our software such as Zoom and stuff like that. So currently right now we've got 3 people who are Patreon supporters, which is Brittany, Melanie, and Ragnar's Riches, which also I always put Jason because he supports me in everything, right? Like, this man has put in some money for what I do because he knows that I love doing it. I love being part of the community. I love reaching out. So even though he doesn't put into the Patreon, he still supports me, so therefore he gets added to it. But I added a new tier for you guys. I know there's a lot of you who are coming in for, tarot readings and stuff, and I'm doing something I've never done with my tarot reading that you guys can do, and it's pretty simple. So with the Patreon, if you sign up for $5 a month, that means every month $5 gets taken out of your account. Here's what you get. You get 1 10-minute reading of your choice. Now you can break this down into questions you have. You can break this down into a general reading. You can one day say, hey, I want to do 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there. It's fine. It's perfect. I'll write it down in my log and we'll keep it and we'll go. So if you're one of those people who always come and get readings, if you want to get $5, which I normally charge for 2 questions, for a 10-minute actual reading, I would suggest going down to the link below, signing up to the Patreon, and I mean, well, $5, what is that? That's like a Happy Meal or like a gas, which who knows where gas prices are going to go, right? But all that money that you guys put in is actually going to go ahead and go back into the Devine Witch. So another thing that we are working on is a Society 6 store. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to start making Devine Witch merch, which the way that Society 6 works is you upload your design, you pick what you want it on, you fix the scale to it, and then you can sell it. And they actually ship it to you. They do all of it, and that's how it rolls. Like, it's not me grabbing the stuff and putting it in the box. It's all done by them. And the only thing I do is upload the artwork, adjust it, make sure it looks good, and all that. Now, I've got a couple designs I'm working on. This is not going to come out till probably about the end of April to May. We'll see how we're going. If anybody would like to submit a design that you feel like you want to for the Devine Witch, please feel free to reach me out at thedivinewitch@gmail.com and shoot me shoot me the design you have, and then we'll talk back and forth. But I thought that was something cool that we could do. Plus, I'm thinking about using them as well. Or I might end up using someone locally for the staff t-shirts that I want to do this year. I know one of our coven members actually has their own shop, and right beside their shop is a guy or girl that makes t-shirts. So that'll be coming too. And that's another thing I want to talk to you guys about, that we are going to have t-shirts made for the Devine Witch staff. So whenever we do have physical meetings, you guys will be able to recognize, hey, that's a Devine Witch staff. So there we go. Let's see, what else do I need to cover? Do remember, we do have TikTok, we do have Instagram. You can follow us there if you want. We do have a public Facebook page. We do have the group as well. Now, I know some people were like, hey, are you on this or are you on that? Some things I can't because I'm Android, and some things I can. Eventually we'll go down that road when I've got a little bit more free time. Because as you guys know, I set up my schedule, but sometimes my schedule gets really wonky depending on what the universe throws towards me. So, it is what it is. You can always plan, but you can't plan for things that you didn't plan on, right? So, another thing that I kind of want to get on here and talk about is I am part of a group of individuals who run their own groups, and we're kind of working together to create this unified pagan group organization to kind of bring everybody together. Right now, it's still, in my mind, in its baby stages, but it is something that is a work in progress. So I will be talking about that a little bit more because, even if I can, I want to help as much as I can. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really like I don't have anything too deep into it. I'm more of a representative for my group. But it is something that, I feel like we can learn from each other, work towards a common goal of some type, and, that's going to be coming up soon. And I know that we've talked about doing some kind of social distance event. I haven't heard much on it since we talked about it, I think, last Sunday. So as more comes on that, I will let you guys know about that as well. I think that's pretty much all that I've got for this newsletter. I don't feel like I've missed anything, even though, I'll probably be like, oh crap, I should have said this or I should have said that. That's how it always goes. Ooh, I do know something that I do need to tell you. Upload schedule. So, as you guys know, our upload schedule is every Monday. That will stay the same. Me going live is only going to happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays because we're getting into spring. Right now, my kids are on spring break. And then eventually after spring, summer comes and then there's summer break. So, I'm kind of slowing down so you guys kind of get used to it before, we get to the summer part. And then once fall hits, I'm going to go back Monday through Friday, have, our lives going on. Normally our lives are me doing tarot. I am considering adding Monday to the list, not for tarot, but for witchy crafts. I might pick a Sunday to do witchy crafts. Because Monday we got our uploads, Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm going to be going live. So Sundays might end up being witchy craft night. Or just like a witchy discussion. It depends on the week, I guess. We'll figure it out as we go along, right? Because that's what we do here. We're squirrels. And even squirrels get a little bit chaotic, but we keep our nuts stored, right? So with that, guys, I hope you guys have a great month. If you guys need me for anything magically, tarot reading, whatever it is, or you want to help with designs, my email will be down below, Patreon will be down below, Facebook group will be down below. So, with that being said, I wish you guys the best, and always remember, no two witches witch the same.